Welcome back to another episode of To the Magic and Beyond. My name is Jordan, here with my co-host Michelle.
Hey, everybody.
And we've got producer Logan and producer Courtney in the house as usual. And today we're going to go over Michelle's and Courtney's most recent trip. You guys just got back.
We did, just like last Sunday.
Fresh out of the car.
Yes, fresh out of the car yesterday.
From your Walt Disney World trip that we kind of did our pre-trip for a few weeks ago.
Yep.
As usual, we always have plans, and then, you get there and you maybe got to pivot.
You make new plans.
Goes well.
Yeah. You have new plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go over kind of how everything went.
All
and
right.
This was not a totally different one for you, because I feel like you have a lot of larger groups of friends that go, and because you are an expert, you've been a lot, you get requested for you and your family to go along with them, which is smart. Have a Disney guide. If everyone could have a Disney guide go with them, that would make all the trips great. But it always ends up being a little bit different, experiences, because
different groups. Yeah.
And so this time you guys were a group of 11.
Yes.
Which is a lot.
A lot. And a group of 11 that was not all Disney veterans.
Yes.
Or I wouldn't even say it'd been a bunch. Some had never been, and some had been just a couple times, and that kind of thing.
And some were like literally 7-month-old babies.
Yeah, some had never been anywhere.
Some are new to the world.
Some are new to the world. Let alone Disney. So it was we ranged in age from the twins turned 7 months while we were there.
Okay.
And then we had an almost 3-year-old.
Aww.
So 3 free kids.
Yeah.
It's important for
is
everybody
great.
to remember. Yep. As long as you're not 3 when the week starts, you're free.
Yep. You can turn 3 on the trip, but as long as you don't start as 3.
That's it. You just can't start as 3. And then we ranged in age from that point all the way up to there was someone older than me. Yes. One person will be 55 this year.
Okay.
And then it was me, 51. So there you go.
Yeah.
So it was, So, I think that we had a good plan going in, a big plan going in, and probably, I do think we hit, for the most part, everybody's must-haves.
Yeah. Which is great.
And then we did have to, some folks shifted just because they had to, pivot to what was going to work for them the best and make them have the best time.
Yeah.
Which everybody's got to do. Like, everybody can't do what we do.
Yep.
Right? Like, I've known folks that go all the time and they don't do what we do. They're more, laid back, and they're just going to get there, and they're not really concerned with trying to do everything.
Right.
And so you have to figure out what's going to work for you. And that's kind of how this started, with some expectations. I think we met most of those.
Yeah.
We may have pivoted to them being a little different.
Yeah. And that's a lot of times you don't know until you get there how you're going to feel. It totally depends on circumstances, what happens, weather, lots of stuff factors into it. So like you said, just pivot as you go and figure it out. And I know it sounds like you guys did that. So going into it, you guys were going to be there for, was it 7 days total?
Yeah.
8
So
days?
check in on Saturday
and check
and
out.
the bulk checked out the next Saturday.
You guys added
a night. Yep.
Yeah. So got there Saturday, and I know some drove, some flew, so kind of a mixture there.
Yeah, and that went great. We drove left around 1 o'clock on Friday, and we drove to Valdosta.
Okay.
Got some good sleep. That's about an 8-hour drive plus a time change there. And then we had about a 3.5-hour drive the next morning. So I planned it knowing that we wanted to get there and get situated before our flying friends got there.
Yep.
So that we could help them.
And this was your family that drove.
Just the 3 of us, producer Courtney, sister Katie, and me. And so we got there at, I think, around 10:30 on Saturday at All Star Music, and they didn't have a room ready for us at that moment, but that was because of the preferred room type.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, because again, guys, my friend Jordan takes care of all my planning. So I just had a room. I didn't know what I had. And so they're like, oh, well, you're preferred. And I went, am I? Really? really? I did not know that. And so they ended up being able to find us a regular room.
Yeah.
Back
Because
in
you
the
guys
back
just
of the
wanted to
resort.
get in at this point. You were
Yep.
ready to go unpack because you wanted to be available
Yep.
for when the rest of the group got there.
And so we did. She came back, got us a little bit of a refund on some Disney merch and some food. And so we got unpacked, and they got there about 12, which is what I had anticipated from their flight schedule and how long it takes to get from MCO. They came in on Mirrors. You had set that up for
the
them,
Mirrors Connect.
which they said it worked great.
Good.
When they got, it took them a little bit to get there as
Yeah.
far as in the airport. They
Yes.
said that the signage isn't awesome. But once they figured out where it was, literally they got in line and the bus was there.
Oh, great.
So they didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
They got there. The only mishap for them was they left a bag at the airport.
Oh.
But they called Southwest. They had it.
Okay.
And what it was I think they had been counting bags
Yeah.
and they missed one.
Oh, no.
And they knew what they had, but somehow they had counted something extra or that wasn't counted.
When you got 3 littles at that point, like, you're doing good just to make sure everybody got to the resort.
I mean, you got 8 people. They didn't leave a kid.
Right.
So it was
all
a win.
of the humans were
all
accounted
the
for.
humans were accounted for, old and young. And so that was a win.
Yeah.
And so they called Southwest, and literally they had it there in the office.
Yeah.
They borrowed our car. 2 of them went and got it. We did. Their room wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they checked their bags with the luggage assistance folks out front, which is great.
Yep.
Complimentary
Complimentary if you have to do it.
Yeah, it's nice if you tip them.
Mm-hmm.
But they were gonna ended up. The only thing that I would say is they were gonna let them deliver their bags, and they
Gotcha.
realized quickly. Oh, like, you don't mean now? And I'm like, no. They're gonna bring them
When they're able.
as they can.
Yeah.
Behind, like, you're behind other folks. So,
Yeah.
And so they just went up and got them with
when
a
the
luggage
room
cart.
was ready.
And so we did all of that. That was good. Had lunch at the resort. All Star Music has great food there. Everybody kind of had something different.
Nice.
Some folks had pizza. I had shrimp. Somebody else had a bowl. Like, it all was great.
Lots of options.
Yeah, lunch was great. We swam and the babies while they're waiting on their room and getting that other bag, and then that all kind of worked out. And then we had reservations over at Grand Floridian at 1900 Park Fair for that Tiana's meal.
Yeah.
And it's great. The food is great. The strawberry soup really is good.
Yeah.
The character interactions there are some of the best on property.
Oh, that's awesome.
Face characters.
Yeah.
And they do really good. Like, they're very good with the kids, and they do a great job. And I would say that being their first dinner, I think they really liked it. Of course, the Grand is grand.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And they're redoing the lobby.
Okay.
So there's some stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And
not quite as beautiful right now.
not quite. The piano player was still playing.
Oh, good.
So you could still enjoy that.
Yeah.
But not quite as grand because they're redoing that. But I'm sure it'll be, I think it's a pretty extensive renovation in there because I think they're talking about the gingerbread house will not be available this year.
It's going to be a minute.
But anyhow, we did that. It takes a few hours when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so we plan to get back and have a nice evening. The one thing that I think going in that was up in the air was, would we do the free water park day?
Right.
And like the week of the trip, or like right before it, we had a conversation that with a dining reservation at night, I just didn't think we could do it.
It would be a lot traveling in, flying, especially with that
3
mix
kids.
with the kids. You know, if it was a smaller group of adults, like, you probably could have made it work. Not
and
too
if you
tiring,
were not, and if you didn't
but-
have if you weren't planning on a dinner,
right.
like, and you were going to get to the water park at 1 and then leaving when it closed.
Yeah, you just casually get dinner whenever.
Would have worked.
Yeah.
But that's not what we were doing.
Yeah.
So I just really didn't think that it was going to be a win, and it might be cause more stress than it would help.
Yeah.
And so we all agreed on that, and none of us did that.
Yeah. And you're not losing anything. Like, it's just literally a free perk at that point.
And so we kind of talked about the plan the night before, because I think everybody goes into things thinking you're going to do one thing and then you're not really sure, right?
Yeah.
And so we talked about it, and we talked about the plan for Epcot. Epcot
That
is
was
a
going to
place.
be your first park day.
Yep, on Sunday. What are we going to do? And I was like, so there's rope drop, there's not rope drop. We know I rope drop mostly, but
you're gonna rope drop.
I'm gonna rope drop, but are you gonna rope drop? So, but the problem is if at certain parks you have to have a plan for what you want out of the park.
Yeah.
And the two, I would say, okay, the three big rides,
Right.
Three, because I always forget to include Guardians.
Yeah.
But I don't ride Guardians.
It's not your 3.
I've ridden it, but it's not in my 3.
Only
and
the biggest ride at Disney now.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's not because she doesn't like it.
Yes.
There's just motion sickness
It's some
involved.
motion stuff, and I wore 2 patches and took a pill, and still felt funny after. So I'm good. I feel like I tempted fate.
Yeah.
Once. We don't need to
Survived
do that again
it.
for folks.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the cleanup folks, not myself. But anyhow, so you've got Frozen, you've got Remy, and then you've got Guardians.
Yeah.
And currently you can rope drop Guardians. And if you're going to do standby and you're not going to pay, you might want to rope drop it. Because, guys, that line while we were there, this trip, we went 2 different times to Epcot, Courtney and I.
Yeah.
And 90-plus minutes all day.
Yeah.
I don't think it got below 90. And it may have gotten up to 120.
Wow.
And it's hot right now, folks.
Yeah.
Really, really hot in Florida.
Yeah.
So you do you, but I'm saying it's worth the cost.
Right.
To ride it if that's your focus.
To buy the individual lightning lane for it.
And so if you're coming in on the Skyliner, one of those resorts, your best bet to rope drop is going to be Remy if you want to ride it.
Yeah.
And then you could pretty quickly get off of Remy and move to Frozen, and that's usually how you're going to get in both of those without a lightning lane.
Yeah.
If you're coming from the front of the park and you're rope dropping from the front, you're going to get one of those.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to get both without much of a wait during a busy time. And this is busy times. So I told them, I'm like, it's up to you. We had Remy as the lightning lane, so they were going to get to ride that. No problem. But if you want Frozen,
gotta get there
you're
early.
going to need to get there early. Or you're going to just need to be willing to stand for an hour or so. Could be an hour. I've seen it go up to 110 minutes in the summer.
Yeah.
And so everybody agreed we'll rope drop. So we did that. We went straight to Frozen from the front. We did real good. I think, they really, our friends that were with us loved the Flowers as Flower and Garden Festival. So there are topiaries everywhere.
Yes.
And anybody that was listens now that was on the band trip with Springfield High School Band in 2013 knows how much I love topiaries. Don't know if any of those folks are listening, some of those chaperones. But, yeah, I think they're all great. And they changed them. They're beautiful. And so they got to experience that. And then we had a reservation for breakfast at 10:30. Mm-hmm. It was not optimal. And so I say that because you're going to go from Frozen, which
is right there.
It's there.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else to do between that time and 10:30 in the area because the countries are closed.
Yeah.
And the shortest distance for anybody that's a geometry person, this is what I remember. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Right.
At Epcot,
there's no
that's across a
line.
Yeah. and they don't allow you to swim across.
Yeah.
So there's no short distance.
Yeah.
You're going to have to walk, right? So we ended up cutting across, and we went over and did the Pixar because that was our first lightning lane.
Yeah, the short films.
Pro tip, whatever park you're doing, and you're going to do lightning lanes, it's very important to have a lightning lane first thing when the park opens.
So close to that park opening.
Park opens at 9. You would like one 9 to 9:30. 9 if preferable.
Yeah. Even if it's a ride that you normally wouldn't probably need a lightning lane for, it's worth it to get that first scan.
Pixar short films is a good example.
Yeah.
They're great and they're cute and I really like them. They're really better at 2:00 when you need air conditioning. Yes. We were just starting out. Or a nap. But we did go do that. Hattie loved those. Our little buddy that was with us that's almost 3. She thought she really liked them because one of them. Well, I guess they're both kind of 3D, at least, but one is more so with Mickey Mouse and all that. But so we did that, and then we went over to Nemo. And someone in the group left their phone on the ride.
Oh no!
They may be wearing a Monsters Inc. jersey.
Oh, no.
and a hat on the show. Because I'm always multitasking.
Even veterans make mistakes.
And I made that one twice
Oh,
on this trip. Yep. Once with the group and once with just producer Corey.
Oh, no. So both
Yep.
at Epcot?
And so it's really bad. Both at Epcot. Yep. Once. So we're on there and I'm real bad about multitasking for work. And all my work friends that are listening, they already know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone sent an email at one point and said, I'll bet you $1 to a donut that Michelle will answer this email even though she's at Disney. And I sent back a donut emoji.
Cute.
Yeah, because there you go.
You
But the phone, here you are, right?
No.
So it was cool though. I got to experience that. I went up to a cast member, first the wrong cast member, who, if you've ever ridden Nemo, they walk backwards because they're
Yes.
watching the belt.
Oh, yep.
They will snap at you if you try to talk to them
Uh-oh.
about your phone that you left on the ride and tell you to go find someone else. So I went and found someone else and said, I'm really sorry. So I went around. He was super helpful. He went, but it had to go a couple loops.
For them to, yeah.
So everybody had to kind of wait on me.
a
We got
slow
that taken
moving
care of. And we pretty much did. I would say Epcot was pretty uneventful after that point.
Mm-hmm.
You're booking lightning lanes, and there's
Yeah.
not a ton,
No.
right? So once you've gone through those, we did Soarin'. Everybody loved it. Hattie couldn't ride it, and I think if we could have got her focused to stand up straight,
Yeah, she
could
wasn't
have, but
cooperating.
it wasn't wanting. She wasn't wanting to get measured.
Yeah.
At that moment, she was busy, but pretty much everybody loved everything. But this week was difficult from a weather standpoint. In the evening, every day, except Wednesday, the off day. I think. I don't think it rained
The
on the
one
off
day.
day.
It did a little, but not
Not enough
not-
to.
Not enough to matter. I think they were in
yeah.
the pool and were thinking about they needed to get out.
Yeah.
But the rains came about the time everybody wanted to eat dinner.
Yeah.
And where we were, because we were going to do Spaceship Earth, we had just actually done that when we came out. You're at Creations.
Right.
So you weren't going to go through the rain to get someplace else to eat.
Yeah.
To get to the next attraction, which would have been Figment, you were going to have to backtrack in the rain.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a monsoon, but it was
Yeah.
quite a bit of rain. And so the decision was to go in and get food. Well, of course, that's where
Everybody else. Everyone
not
had the same
necessarily
idea.
eating food, but they're at least sitting at the
Waiting
tables
out
that
the
you would like to
storm.
sit. So that was kind of the theme. And then they had Guardians.
Yeah.
After that, pretty much everybody left. Part of us left, part of us looked at Creations.
Yeah.
And then we all left. And then the decision was, well, what are you going to do the next day?
Yeah.
Next
Which was
day's
going to be Animal Kingdom.
Of course, I was
Am gonna
planning to
rope
rope
drop.
drop and did. Courtney and I rope dropped. And it was, that park is especially fun to rope drop. I think, Logan, you and I talked about that
Yeah.
earlier. It's peaceful. The tree of life is there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, you don't do the one thing that's worth rope dropping, which is Flight of Passage,
Passage.
Avatar.
Right.
You go in and you go get a tiger tail and you enjoy the scenery, and that is really peaceful at 7:30 at Animal
Yeah,
Kingdom.
there's
so.
nothing happening
Yeah.
except watching people. Like, I like to walk through that line over there and look
Yeah.
at all the people who are just standing. And I like to see how fast, because that line, like, it has crossings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it has crossings. But, like, and so Courtney and I, she's letting me know where she's at. And she's like, I haven't made it to the crossing. And so I'm like, oh, there's the crossing. Did a little short video over there.
Yeah.
And I rode Navi River twice by myself. Thought about a third time, decided it was time for the tiger tail.
Yeah.
And moved on. And then everybody met up, did a Moana meet and greet.
Oh,
Did you all get the
fun.
Vietnamese coffee that we talked about?
Yes.
Courtney
I
did.
did and loved it.
Good.
It's probably my
Yes.
favorite
So good.
coffee.
I'm
the
a
whole
shaken
trip.
Jamaican kind of person these days with caramel, but yeah,
It was really good.
she loved it, and I did
Good.
think I tried it.
You did. You said it was too sweet.
It was
Yeah,
too
you're
sweet
not a
for me.
sweet
Katie
person.
even said it was too sweet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
she
imagine
likes
if
a
you
sweet
wanted to put
coffee.
flavors in it, like we thought we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Trust the man.
go to get the Vietnamese coffee and they advise you not to get it sweetened, like, they're right. It really is just sweet
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
like sweet
Need
coffee.
to add any.
Courtney and I
additional
like
sweetener.
sweet coffee, so we had recommended it when we accidentally discovered it. So if you like a sweet coffee, Animal Kingdom, where you can get the tiger tails, Vietnamese coffee.
And I think everybody the day went great. We did have the Lightning Link purchase later for Flight of Passage for
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
Courtney
we're
just
big
got to do it
believers in
twice,
that. She did
right?
it twice, which is the purpose of showing up early so that you can do some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We did the Finding Nemo show, the Lion King show. There were some Dole Whips to be had.
Yeah.
Some other folks had other ice cream later in the
Good
day.
snacks.
Maybe
Did you get to
somebody
ride
had a Mickey
Dinosaur?
bar.
We did.
We rode Dinosaur. I love
Aw.
Dinosaur. Last time for me,
I know.
before it's going to change.
It's a little bittersweet that last
I know.
ride.
Yeah, saw the gorillas. They got to see the gorillas.
Good.
Some shopping. I think everybody, the baby care center is really nice there. They had some great compliments about that. And really, it was just a great day. It was not a rushed day overall.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom can also be a little bit like Hollywood Studios in the sense that you forget how big it is,
Right.
Because of the animal. It's a lot of walk. Yeah, it's again,
Yeah. If you
kinda
do
like
all
that
the treks,
Epcot.
yeah.
Kind of like at Epcot, you got to go around the circle,
Mm-hmm.
and the circle is the lake. Well, at Animal Kingdom, there's sort of a lake there too, but
Yeah.
other parts. But you can't, you
Not
know.
as big of a circle to
Not
have
as
to walk
big of a
around,
circle.
But if
No.
you're back there at Everest,
Yeah, it can
you
take a
have to
minute.
go around either way.
But we went through the whole thing, and I would say they saw everything at Animal Kingdom that they wanted to.
Awesome.
A little bit extra. I think they
Yeah.
really. Matter of fact, if I remember, I think somebody said that was from our friends loved it and said that was their favorite.
Oh,
I think they really love that with the animal, and it is the least hustle and bustle.
yes.
So if you're not into running with your hair on fire,
Yeah.
that's the park for
Yeah,
you.
you can definitely take your time and make your way through everything if you want to. And especially like we've kind of all collectively talked now after trips that we've taken friends and family on, that Epcot in general is just, you get so many steps in.
It's
Because it's just like you said, there's no cut through. So if you're over
25,000.
here- Yeah, 25,000 steps for you guys on your day. When we took our parents, it was easily the most walking that we did. And so to kind of follow that up with Animal Kingdom is kind of a nice
Yeah.
breather in a sense.
And I will
for-
say that that's the most steps that I've ever had at Epcot.
Oh, wow.
That I've looked at my
Yeah.
steps. Usually like 19,000. Magic Kingdom's the only place I've ever done over 23,000 steps
Yeah.
in a day.
But
And guys,
25?
when we're talking double digit miles,
Yeah.
we're talking a lot of stuff. And
Half
yeah,
marathons. at that
yeah,
point.
it's a
Yeah.
lot. But they did everything. I think the only thing they did not do, we didn't see Baby Bots go.
The little tiger.
Courtney's
Poor Courtney.
still really upset about it because we've tried to see him 3 times and we
No
failed.
luck.
We didn't even go look for him though. That's the thing.
Right.
And they also didn't get to do our friends that didn't rope drop. They didn't get to do Navi River.
Okay.
So of the Pandora rides, they didn't. And we
Yeah.
had lunch at Flame Tree, which never
Yum.
disappoints. They really
So
enjoyed it.
good.
And then we left there, went to Steakhouse 71
For your dinner.
for our dinner. We've talked on previous that I'm not a Tusker House fan currently. Maybe again another time, not now. And we kept that, and Steakhouse 71 is great. Although, look, to each his own. I've seen some reviews of Steakhouse 71 where people go, it's not all that in a bag of chips. I don't know what they're eating because I've had lunch and it's a burger and it's great. And that's not I'm not an apologist. I'm just saying I've
You
had a lot
thoroughly
of
have
things.
enjoyed your experience every time.
The
there.
onion rings, the
Oh,
crab
so
cakes,
good.
the steaks. We did the medallions this time, didn't we?
Yeah, they were really good.
And we really liked it. And they weren't very medallion-y. I don't even know, that's not a word. But they were not like, when I think of medallions, I think of like, I don't know, coins, right? Like stuff sliced up. These were 2 huge chunks. I don't know. It didn't seem very, but it's okay because we shared it and
Yeah.
there was 2 of them.
There you go.
It worked.
Yeah.
We have these 2 smaller steaks that are not quite big enough. I know. We'll call them medallions and serve them that way.
That's it. And of course we had the chocolate cake, Jordan.
Yes. So good.
And the other table, I think they all did steaks. They were on
Okay.
dining plan.
Yeah.
And they did steaks. And I think I feel like somebody got the cheesecake over there. There was a lot of chocolate cake. And maybe somebody
I
got
think
creme
someone
brulee.
got creme brulee, but I
And
could
we've
be
had
wrong.
the creme brulee. And it's
Yeah.
good. So that was a win. And then the next day, let's see. So that was Sunday, Monday. So next day's Tuesday, which is our first Magic Kingdom day.
Mm-hmm. And you were going to go to Magic Kingdom twice
Yep.
that week with the whole group.
Yep. Which I think for people who've never been,
Mm-hmm.
look, I can remember when Magic Kingdom opened, was open till like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And we were on arrival day showing up at Magic Kingdom at 1. And we would work it. This was pre Lightning Lane, Genie Plus, back in the old Fast Pass days. But, we would start on Frontierland, Adventureland and Frontierland, and do half the park that day, and then go back another day, do the other half, and then some favorites.
Yeah.
With Lightning Lane, you can do a lot of your favorites again on a second day.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, you kind of go about it how you want to. So they did not rope drop.
Okay.
At first they thought they would, but then they realized like the days were already compounding in the heat and the rain.
Yes.
Because it did rain on us after our dinner at Steakhouse 71.
Yeah.
So they showed up a little bit later. But really, I think Magic Kingdom was a really good day. It was pretty uneventful. We had our dinner reservation at Tony's.
Okay.
Love Tony's. They got to see Mickey Mouse, I think, with a 15-minute wait after dinner.
Wow.
And did a bunch of photos back there.
That's
and maybe even
awesome.
saw Goofy like right outside the restaurant, I
Yeah.
think, just by happenstance. I will say this. There were more characters walking in the park,
Then
like
before?
I would say the 90s and 2000s.
Oh, that's awesome.
Than I've seen. What I will say is you're not necessarily getting a photo.
Yeah, they're just walking through.
And
but
they'll let you know.
You're at least
their
seeing
their
them.
handlers will let
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, they're not
Just
stopping. Or
wave.
every now and then the character will still stop for that person, but not for you. Don't be a hater. Just let it go.
They're doing their best.
We saw Flynn Rider.
Yeah, Flynn
Oh.
and Rapunzel were walking around Fantasyland during rope
cute.
drop.
Oh,
So
that's
that was
awesome.
really cute.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, the carousel was ridden. We saw Mickey's PhilharMagic. Dumbo. Hattie got to ride her first roller coaster, which was the Barnstormer,
Yeah.
otherwise known as Goofy's coaster. And she threw her hands up,
She
and when
loved
it
it.
stopped, she was like, again,
Oh,
again,
yay.
again. And we were like, okay. So we did it one more time, and she was
Yeah.
pretty upset with us when we left after that, because we
There's
moved on to
more.
something else. And she ended up being big enough. She won't be 3 till July,
Yeah.
but she was able to ride Seven Dwarfs
Oh, wow.
at Hollywood Slinky Dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she got to ride, and I think she would have been tall enough to ride Tiana's, but I'm not really sure how that would have went.
Yeah.
Like in the seat.
Just, yeah.
But yeah, she had a blast. Lots of good food, all the good snacks. Dinner was good, but the rain on that night set in.
Yeah.
And we were finishing up over in Tomorrowland. So they were supposed to ride Space Mountain that night, but ended up heading on back because we weren't going to stand in a monsoon and watch a fireworks show with projections. If it had happened, and I don't think it did, I think it was canceled that night, or at least delayed. At Magic Kingdom, they do have to go ahead and do those fireworks regardless, even if they wait till the park closes.
Yeah.
But the projections weren't going to happen.
Right.
And so everybody was good.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of made their way back, and we had a rest day on Wednesday.
Yeah. And you knew you had your second Magic Kingdom day anyways, so try to catch the fireworks that night. Don't kill yourselves.
Well, and then here's another thing, which just goes to show that no matter how experienced you are when you're planning, when I was booking our lightning lanes, I somehow missed Tron the second time. And it was how I booked my Magic Kingdom days.
Yeah.
And so we only booked it once.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite ride. Guardians is a lot of other people's favorite ride, but I like Tron. And so that was a little humbling moment and sad moment. But yeah, we had an off day. We had a reservation at the Beach Club to do the breakfast there. And they're so cute because they're dressed in their little swim outfits.
Beach outfits.
Yep, they're in the little beach outfits. Donald is there. He's my favorite. So it was really good. We kind of sat in a back room.
Yeah.
They have pog juice there, which is really, really good.
So good.
It's like mango, papaya, orange, guava maybe.
Guava is in there.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so good.
Very good. And they loved it. Our friends loved it. We'd been before, but they loved it. So I think they felt like it was better than the Crystal Palace.
Okay.
So think omelet bar, waffles, crepes. They had a crepe bar. fruit toppings, scrambled eggs, some sort of potato casserole, like everything you can think of.
Yeah.
But there's always something a little different at each one.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, so that was really good. A member of our group, though, was sick. Our buddy Luke was sick, had a bunch of respiratory asthma stuff. And I had seen posted on a Disney page on Facebook a concierge service where they will actually come to the hotel.
Oh, awesome.
You know, like, I don't know, there used to be a show on television where that's what they were.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't remember what it was called. It's not Suits, it's something else, where it was two brothers, and that was the whole TV show.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
So think
I
like
can't
that.
think of what it's called.
And it was a guy, and so anyhow, he came over and saw them. You could get steroid shots, you can get IV fluids if you need.
yeah.
IV, he calls in the IV antibiotics. I think Luke needed an inhaler.
Oh.
So like he did all of that. While we were doing that, the group went to Disney Springs.
Okay.
And then when we were finished and he felt a little bit better, he's a big Lego guy.
Oh.
And into cultural things and things.
Yeah.
So we went back over to Disney Springs, the three of us. I got some cool stuff. As always, so did everybody else, because the merch always goes. You got the show, Logan?
Yes.
Is it Royal Pains?
That's
Yes,
it.
yeah.
The Royal Pains. Yeah.
Welcome.
And some of them actually watched it, like
Yeah,
some friends in the group. My
that's
friend Jen,
awesome.
like they used to watch that show. So anyhow, they really raved about it. We making the doctor has said he'd be on here as a guest sometime.
Oh, cool.
So we may talk to him about
Yeah.
everything that he does in the Orlando area. But came to the resort, Disney lets them in. You get your
There you
visit in
go.
your room. No insurance, folks.
Mm,
So you're going to pay for that.
yeah.
But for them,
But
like my friend Jen said,
yeah.
they would have been out of network there
Anyways,
anyway with
yeah.
their insurance.
Yeah.
So they would have paid a lot anyway.
Right. And this
So-
way he could stay in the comfort of the room and overall just got to feeling better where he didn't end up having to miss out on the Lego store.
You got it.
You know.
Yeah, and it was a really nice service and that kind of thing. So that's kind of how everybody, I think some of them swam. I made 2 trips to Disney Springs that day.
And why is that?
Another veteran who made a mistake. So
You're just so busy taking care of everyone else.
yeah, I know. So when we were going back, my friend here, Jordan, had requested this luxurious bag. She had seen it on her trip and kind of wanted it. Wasn't
It
quite
wouldn't
sure.
fit in my carry-on because
Yeah.
we did spirits. So.
Spirit with no bag in the hole.
And Michelle, being driving on this trip, very so kindly said that she would grab it for me.
Yes.
We talked about this.
To Logan's
So-
chagrin.
So, and I didn't want to pick it out while I was there by myself without producer Courtney, because I'm not always the most observant human, because I get distracted. I'm Doug from Up. Well, I did it again.
Squirrel.
Did it again. So we're there. Someone else, another friend, and my friend Wendy had said, "Hey, can you pick this cup up?" Because they weren't going to be back at Springs, and they did.
Yeah.
They did we didn't get it. It'll be someplace else.
And it wasn't.
And it
anywhere
wasn't.
else.
So we found that I needed to exchange a shirt that I had gotten at World because I got too big.
Yeah.
Wanted a size down. And so we did that, and we were looking for the Taylor Swift shirt. Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the singer on the
found
show,
your bag.
folks. Yeah.
But I didn't like any of the options at that store.
Oh.
And so when we
They had a
went-
little string, a little spot.
And so we were like, well,
You guys are
we'll
so
go back to
sweet.
this store. And then I don't know that we even went back. I think it started raining and we
Yeah.
were focused on getting back to the
I
bus.
completely lost
And
track.
we got back to the room and I was like, we didn't get Jordan's bag. And that's the whole reason we went back.
And then I started panicking because I'm like, what if we can't get this bag and I've totally messed this up? So I missed Tron and now I've messed this bag up with 2 strips. And just so you know, when we talk about an off day at Disney,
It's not.
it's supposed to be an
Yeah.
off day.
But you were all over the place.
15,000 steps later and no bag. So the next day is Thursday and it's Hollywood. And Hollywood is a dream killer
Yeah.
in real life and on a Disney trip. Just with my girls, we used to say, for some reason, we used to do it last day. For several trips, we did it last day when we were tired and we done so. And so then we got to the point where we were like, well, we can't do that because we're mad at each other. We were all snippy and hateful. And I used to, when rope dropping, may or may not, would stop and let people eat.
Yeah.
Because I was focused, and now I know better. So now we eat. We go to the restroom.
Let them have their food.
We do a lot of things that we used to didn't, and so now we do them. But anyhow, so again, I had told everyone, look, this is a park that you got to rope drop.
Yeah.
If you don't,
long
you
lines.
cannot.
Yeah.
But then be happy with what you get to do, which you're going to be lucky to do your 3 lightning lanes.
Yeah.
This is a situation where Disney doesn't oversell those lightning lanes, but I've never only had 3 in a day that I've been in a park all day.
Yeah.
Now, the exception could be Hollywood if you didn't go
Early.
at rope drop.
Yeah. Get that 9 o'clock.
You got it.
Lightning
So
lane.
we were there. We were in line and rode Tower of Terror, those of us that rode it. And then the group got off and they went straight to Rockin' and were literally getting on it by the time the park was opening.
Oh, nice.
So they did great with that.
Yeah.
And then we moved on and we moved on to Toy Story Land. We did all the rides over there, all at one time.
Yeah.
And did Woody's Lunchbox.
Oh, nice.
That now has shade.
Yes. So much
It's
more
so
seating.
nice. I still don't think it has a lot of seating.
Yeah.
I stood at a little table. Not a fan of standing to eat, but it's okay.
But,
That's what I did.
But you had shade. So.
Right, we had shade, and part of our group did. The important
Yeah.
part of our group had chairs that had the
Yeah.
babies. But I would say we did the bulk of everything at Hollywood. And would you say it was successful, but by Star Wars land, Star Wars is hot. But who did you finally see, Courtney?
So Mandalorian.
Yes.
With?
Little Grogu.
Yes.
I only got to just snap a picture of them
Yeah.
and get my picture with them.
Oh,
but
they're my
I finally got to
favorite.
see them.
and so in our group, really, they were just awestruck
Yeah,
at Star Wars.
it's so
it was
cool.
so cool, so real, and everything like that. So we pretty much, I would say, it was a success there
Why did you start
Awesome.
off by saying it's a dream killer?
because
Just from
it's
past?
hot and hard.
It is hot. It's a concrete jungle.
It's a concrete jungle. Yes, and it's the
But
hardest
nothing
part
on this
there.
trip was a dream killer necessarily.
I would say that the group
Hollywood.
felt, by the time the group, yes, we actually, Mary Grace and our group looked at me and said, it's a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
like,
were feeling it by the end of the day, but
Let me put it
overall
this
had
way.
success.
we did Frozen at about 2 o'clock, 2:30, and I looked over because Reese and Mary Grace came in late.
Yeah.
They're the parents of the little babies and the
Yeah.
little person.
Frozen sing along.
Frozen sing
Not
along.
the ride at Epcot.
Yeah.
And it's so great, and has, for all you folks out there that are big, grumpy men that are like, I'm not going to sing along. God, it's hilarious. It's funny for adults.
Yeah.
Whether you've seen the movie or not, it's just funny.
Yeah.
And it's mostly air conditioned. It was a little warm in there, I felt like, this time, but it was really warm outside. Look over at Mary Grace and Reese. They're one row ahead of us, and they're passed out. When I say they're passed out, I mean they are kicked back, heads back, mouth open, like
Amazing.
I think
Done.
half of our group was asleep in
Aw.
that show.
I wasn't
I looked.
asleep.
Well, you weren't.
I was living
Katie
it up
went
singing.
to sleep.
Oh.
I look over. Mark, I think, might have fallen asleep. Hattie was already asleep,
So it was
and
like,
I think one of the twins
I
was
was gonna say,
asleep.
it's you and the babies that were.
And we
I'm
were trying
awake.
to keep one twin happy.
I was singing. It was
I
great.
think only me, Mom, and Jen were awake.
Oh.
So we went through. So we finished up there. They did see. Okay. So what didn't we do there? Well, we didn't do the 2 new things that had opened
Yes.
while we were there. It was
Yeah.
the debut of the new Voyage of the Little Mermaid show and the new Villains
Yeah.
show.
And it literally opened.
Yeah, while we were there. Like
Wow.
Jodie Benson was
Yeah.
there the day before we were
Yeah.
there.
So it was a hot ticket.
Yeah, the hot ticket, and Courtney and I ended up in the lines and got turned away because they were at capacity for
Yeah.
the last shows of the evening.
Right.
Because our group had gone on and
Yeah.
headed out because of the rain.
Mm.
Hollywood and Vine, they loved it.
Yeah.
They really enjoyed it, and they like the characters there.
And did y'all have dinner there, right?
Dinner.
Yeah.
So you've got the shrimp and mac and cheese. There's carved meats, some desserts. Look, for Disney folks like us that go all the time, it's not my favorite meal, but it's solid.
Yeah.
And Hollywood doesn't have a lot of good stuff right now.
Yeah.
Just saying. And so, you've got the Hollywood Brown Derby, but it's bougie.
Yeah.
And
Roundup Rodeo Barbecue.
Roundup. We've
I
not
still
done
want to
it.
eat there.
You
I
gotta
haven't.
do it.
We'll have to take
Haven't
you
eaten
guys
there yet.
next time because it's so good.
But other than that, Courtney and I actually had our first podcast meet and greet.
Yeah.
I know, right? It was crazy.
We're famous.
People know who we are.
Shout out to John, Gigi, and Patty. And so hopefully we'll have a picture of us on our Facebook page when we do the promo, and you will have seen it. But yeah, so John had been in touch with Courtney because she works with him at where she works. I won't say where she works. I'll have to remember we're not sharing everything about us. But anyhow, they work together, and so they were at Disney, and they're pass holders, and they go all the time. They drove their RV down. And we were in parks. We ended up seeing them at Magic Kingdom too, just by happenstance.
Yeah.
I got to talk with them a bit. Patty loves the podcast. She says we're doing a good job. So
Thanks,
shout out,
Patty.
And then that was pretty much it. It rained.
So no Phantasmic.
No Phantasmic. We went back and forth for a bit.
Okay.
Seeing if we were going to stay.
Yeah.
As we were talking about Golden Girls earlier, picture it. Sicily, 1920. No. So the rains came, and we wanted to go. I wanted to see Phantasmic, and I was unwilling to give up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you think? Do you not think? And like, we're going back and forth. I even talked to a cast member or two, and they're like, yeah, if they cancel it, it's going to be last minute. Like literally 9:15 for a 9:20.
Hold out as long as they can.
Yeah, to keep you in the park, right? So we make it all the way to the buses, and I'm looking at the sky, and Courtney's shaking her head now. You guys can't see her, but she's shaking her head and rolling her eyes. We're literally in line
Out
for
to
the
step
bus,
on the bus.
and I'm looking at the sky, and I look at the bus, and I look at her, and I go, I don't know what to do because I want to see it. What if it happens after we leave? She's like, decide already. What are we doing? We got out of line, walked back, and a cast member's laughing at us. Like, I stopped and talked to him, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Please tell me.
And
what
he's
to
like,
do.
yeah. He goes, I mean, it's probably not happening. He goes, but like, if you want to try, they're not going to cancel it till 5 minutes. And I was like, okay.
My shoes were already wet from being stuck in a rainstorm. We stood under an umbrella, or I stood under an umbrella for probably 30 minutes while you went to guest services.
Yes, but I went to guest services because we had looked at the weather in this rain. We were not going to get to go to the water park on Saturday for our second check-in, Courtney and I.
Yeah.
And so I literally went and said, how much is it to add a day?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know. Let me look.
Yeah. You were looking to add like a whole nother
park day. Yeah, for just us, because
Yeah.
everybody else was going home. Katie was flying home as well on
And
Saturday,
just you
which
and
was
Courtney
a
were
change.
staying one extra day.
$32. She said $32, I believe. And I went, I'll take it. And she was like, well, wait, I have to verify. And I
She's like,
went,
"That seems
no,
too good
you
to
already
be
said
true."
it.
Yeah.
So it
No
sold.
takebacks.
Sold. And so no, it was $32 a piece.
Okay.
But $32 for a day at Epcot?
How did that work? What?
Because we already had a 5-day ticket.
It's adding on. They didn't do like they weren't purchasing a separate 1-day ticket, which probably would have been closer to like $150 or something.
Yeah.
But because she was just adding it on to their existing 5-day ticket, the way that Disney does their ticketing system is the more days you buy, the cheaper that it is per day. Per day. It's still expensive.
It's
but
cheaper. It's a deal.
They try to give
I
you.
believe Michelle hasn't bought a 47-day ticket yet.
they
do
capped
think it
them.
maxes out at 10.
Yeah, it maxes out at 10, unfortunately.
But a
But-
lot of times when
Yeah.
you go in and add, and it can depend on the park too, like different
And like,
things. But
yeah, and to put that into perspective, in March we added a day, but
Mm-hmm.
it was weird because we had hurricane days
yeah, so
that
you
were left
couldn't
over. I
extend the
couldn't do anything
ticket.
until I
Yeah.
got there, so it wasn't cheaper, and we
Yep.
had to buy the $135 ticket.
Yeah, it's not always possible. It just she did the right thing
Okay.
in the moment of adding on before their trip was over. All of those things, like if you're there actively going, you can also do the same thing if you want to add a park hopper on all of a sudden to your last day. You can do that, and sometimes it's a little more
Yeah.
affordable.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
always,
so-
but never hurts to ask.
So it was raining. Everybody else had left. So we did get that accomplished. We didn't know what park we were going to go
Yeah.
to, but like we were
But you had
thinking
another day.
Epcot. What we had decided was, again, Hollywood's a killer.
Yeah,
Not
Not
Hollywood.
doing it again.
We had already decided.
not gonna try to go back to see the shows.
We knew we were going to have 2
considered
days
it
at Magic Kingdom. We
Yeah.
did for those shows only.
Yeah, but you were like,
and
"Ugh, is it
it wasn't
for
worth
only
it.
the
So
shows? Yeah,
we moved on. We got a good night's rest. They had originally, our group had thought they would for sure rope drop on Friday.
for your last day and your last Magic Kingdom day.
And they decided after the killer day that they were not rope dropping again. And so, and that was cool. And we didn't really know. And Katie only rope dropped the days that the rest of the group did. And she's
Which
not
was-
always a rope
yeah,
dropper. Like she'll
Epcot.
sleep in a lot.
Yeah,
Everybody rope drop Epcot, and that was it.
first
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. And
No more rope
Hollywood.
dropping.
And Hollywood.
And Hollywood.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did do that.
So Courtney and I, we rope dropped again, and had a good morning until they all met up with us. Magic Kingdom, it was a great day.
Yeah.
I would say overall, part of the group did leave that day. The group
Okay.
with the babies,
Went back,
they
took
went
a
back
break
and took a
midday.
break because they wanted to see
the fireworks.
the fireworks, and they wanted to see Happily Ever After. And so, and we had Tron for
Yeah.
end of the night, and so they didn't want to miss
Okay.
out. So they took a break, and Courtney and I did not. Katie did not take a break. This just goes to show that like your
All
group
the
can
different
have
ways you can do
fun
it,
and
yeah.
you can do it all different. Katie was like, she does not care about the nighttime shows. She's like, wants to see them once, and then
Yeah.
she's good.
Yeah,
So she's like, seen it, done it.
yeah.
I'm good, and I'm
And
like,
she had to leave at like 4 a.m. the next day.
yeah.
So
She was leaving very early the next morning, and so she was like, so I'm not taking a break,
yeah,
but I'm leaving by like 7.
yeah.
And so that's what she did. And we kind of did some shopping on the way out. We rode a bunch of stuff multiple times.
That's awesome.
Like at Magic. I think, lots of things twice. The show was great.
Yeah.
Several
Everyone
of us
else
had
made it all the way to the fireworks.
we all made it. It
Got
didn't
good
rain it
seats.
out. We had perfect seats. Not just good, but I would say perfect near the curb. We ended up on the curb though, I think.
That's
You're
nice.
welcome.
What can I say?
Stop.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Courtney's favorite.
Yeah.
And how
Episode 9, Mystery Questions. Go
Somebody,
listen now.
and somebody has about low confidence over there. Courtney.
how early did you have to get there pre fireworks to get such a perfect seat?
Oh, it was just about an hour 15.
We
Okay.
probably did. Yeah. We've done the 2 hour before, but we
Yeah.
don't do that.
Let me say
anymore.
Let me say that.
But there were people already out
Waiting.
there
Yeah.
waiting.
Last
before
October,
we did.
I was seeing folks 2 hours.
Wow.
March, we
Not
didn't
as
have to
many.
wait that long, and we had a great. It was a perfect spot too.
We had a
in
good
March.
spot in March.
And then this was a perfect spot, and it was a
Yeah.
great spot where we actually could sit, and we split up for ice cream runs.
Yeah.
We all had the I Lava You.
Yes.
Yeah, from this, what is that, Sunshine Tree Terrace, I think is what that's
Yeah.
called. And so that was really good. Everything was good. And then after that, we had to get over to Tron,
Right.
which is going against the grain.
the green.
And it was a little rough, but I had
Can be a little
strollers.
intimidating.
Now, let me tell you,
Oh, yeah.
you got a double stroller. You're
AKA
coming.
a battering
I did
ram.
enjoy pushing the stroller. I was booking it with
Yeah,
the stroller.
she had a
at one
single
point.
stroller and I had a double stroller. And at one point, Mark, my friend's husband, he was like, "You're going against the grain." I'm like, "Yep, it's okay. They'll stop."
Yeah.
Eventually, like, I'm coming through.
I have a
Like,
stroller. I
we're
win.
gonna get through, and we did, and we got over there and got Jen situated with the babies, and then we all went. The rest of us went to Tron. That was there. Luke was not with us. He
Katie
did not.
was
He
not
did not
with
come
us.
back that evening. He had had enough, and so the rest of us were over there, and we're in line. They were about 25 people ahead of us at one point, I think. And then people started getting out of line because you could see it had stopped running and it's not moving. But it's the end of the night.
Yeah.
So this is where being experienced comes into play, guys.
Yeah.
If you're in a line and it breaks, don't get out.
Yeah.
If you're in a line and it's the end of the night and it breaks, don't get out of line.
Yeah.
If you want to ride it. Now,
Yeah.
during the day, you don't get out of line because you might get what? A free lightning lane to use on anything that level or below.
For the inconvenience.
All right, because you're inconvenienced. But this particular reason was at the end of the night, if you get in the queue before park close or up to it, you get to ride.
They'll let you, even if they're there an hour after park close, they'll get you
And this
through.
conveniently closed. The ride broke, quote unquote, pretty much 5 after 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we stood there, and they were kind of, our friends were in front, and they kind of were like, you know, looking. I go, no, don't get out of line. Like, give this just a minute to shake out.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
You saw
10:20.
the test.
The test happened at 10:20, and then it was running. So we literally shut it down, and my friend Jen, all she wanted to take home was a caramel apple and a candy apple. And I'm like, I promise you, Main Street will be open.
They'll stay open for you.
They were open, and so they got their candy. I think we got back to the resort at 11:30.
Oh, not bad.
They all had to fly out, you know, the next day.
Yeah.
We did see them to say goodbye. We did
Okay.
not see Katie to say goodbye.
Yeah,
'cause
she
I think
left
I
at,
waved at her as she went out the door at 4. And then Courtney and I packed up, and we moved over to Beach Club.
Woohoo!
That's a different life.
Did we talk about how that came about? I can't
don't
remember if we talked
remember
about
if
it
I
in
don't
the
think we.
pre-trip,
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we did.
or are we just surprising folks
I think
right
it
now?
happened after the pre-trip.
Surprise. Yeah.
So a friend of mine at work, Lana. Hey, Lana, if you're listening, thank you, buddy. It was amazing. That's a good life you're living down there at the DVC. She had some points, 37 to be exact, that
With the
they were going to
Disney
lose.
Vacation Club.
Yes, the Disney Vacation Club. It's my dream. My husband Danny's a dream killer because we don't have it. We don't have DVC. But I want it really bad. So we get this and we go over and look, we've been to the Beach Club a lot. You've been to the Beach Club a lot. Beaches and Cream is there, a great little diner, a lot of fun. We ate there for lunch this time, and we eat there all the time. And they have a famous pool. It's a saltwater pool with a sand bottom that I never swimming in, ever. Think of all the Band-Aids, guys. They're in the
One
sand.
of the few people that doesn't want to be a part
Yeah, I
of
don't
that.
want that. I don't want the pool, but
It was
People go there
closed.
for the
It
pool,
was-
but yeah, it was closed anyways.
it's closed
so-
for renovation. They're done with the pool. It has water in it and everything.
Yeah.
We looked through the curtains.
Yeah.
But they're working on the building.
Gotcha.
And finishing that up. But our room wasn't quite ready, so we went ahead and went to lunch. We knew we were going to go to Epcot, but we weren't in a rush because we had
you'd already
done
done
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
we were
want to
just
enjoy
chilling.
the resort a little bit. You're getting to stay there.
And enjoy.
You only
my
get one
goodness.
night.
We got the text that the room was ready, and I'm like, you want to go ahead and unpack? Courtney was like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that before we go. So we go. It was a 1-bedroom.
Ooh.
So nice.
Not listen. The smells in these places, the deluxe resorts, they do just smell. They smell like money. That's what they smell like. They smell like money, different kinds of money, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s. So we get in there, and they're so nice. You know, they're like, "Welcome home," and I'm like, "It is. It's my home." So we get in there, and I'm
Danny,
taking
if you're
a picture.
listening.
Yeah, we'll try to throw some pictures up of our room
Yes.
because I took some
Yeah.
pictures
She
on the
sent
Facebook
pictures,
page.
and I was like, wow, that's yeah.
The door is shaped like, I think, like a surfboard. I think is what the door was shaped like.
Yeah.
Anyhow, like, but very classy, very
Yeah.
upscale surfboard. And so you walk in, and it's a beautiful kitchen with granite, and then there's the settee and like the living room and the pull down bed. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't bad enough, when I walked into the bathroom, which has like too many doors, I do have to say that, but there's a tub
Yeah,
that I'm
very
pretty sure-
nice tub.
Yes.
producer Logan fits in.
That's a big
And what are you,
tub.
6'7",
It's a 6'9".
6'9",
Yeah.
6'9"? He can fit. Now, it's still it's a work in progress, but he's gonna fit in the tub. He can get in.
I can fit on the rides.
Yeah, he's in it. But yeah, it was beautiful. King size bed in the master. It was just beautiful. I did use the tub that night. Took a really nice bubble bath, and now I know why my friends. Shout out to Becca, Michelle Deadman, if you ever listen. I know now why y'all like the tub.
The bathtub.
I've never been a bath person. It's because I don't have the right tub. I don't have the right tub.
Disney changes a girl.
Yeah, Disney changes a girl. So, yeah, that was great. We did have a good evening at Epcot afternoon. We watched the Beauty and the Beast sing-along.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time.
First time in forever, the Beauty and the Beast sing-along.
It is kind of tucked back there. And again, like Remy's usually the focus. It's in the France area.
Which we had done single rider for Remy.
Yes,
right,
we did
before
that.
Oh, nice.
Single rider for Remy. Note, you're not in your own seat. You know, it's a bench.
Right. So
and the people that you're riding with aren't really glad you're riding with them. I'm just saying.
But there's signs.
There's signs
right
now.
that says, like, if you don't fill up the car,
we're
it's
gonna
seat
add
6.
a single rider.
So you're gonna have
it's
a single
3
rider
and 3.
with you.
So a lot of times you end up with wasted space.
Yeah.
So that's one that they can do single riders for.
Well, and they do. And the little gentleman and lady that rode with me, I really thought that he would have her sit by me. I don't know why I thought that. I just kind of thought he would get in but he did not. He rode in the middle, but he never made eye contact. It was like, you're not with us. So we did that, and that was great. A great stay there. DVCs, you can go out there if you don't want to own one because they're expensive and they're not forever. Depends on your contract. You can buy resale contracts. They sell those a little different. Your perks are a little different. We'll probably do an episode on DVC sometime just for people that are interested because you hear about it. The Disney Vacation Club, and they're everywhere. Yeah. At all the resorts, the deluxe resorts rather. Yeah. And they are considered deluxe when you stay in them. So we were not in the main building at Beach Club, but aside. Yeah. And I mean, it was just, I think overall, it was really, really nice. That day helped us rest. We had the best drive home the next day. Yeah. We weren't super tired because we drove the whole way. Right. And back to work on Monday.
Back to reality.
Unfortunately. So we're trying to make the 10s and 20s and 5s back. Yeah. We need them.
You need to smell them again.
Buy a nice tub and a surfboard door for your house.
There you go. Yeah. So, great trip overall. I think, you just got to, when you go, set your expectations for whatever group you're going with. It's going to be fun for you. Yeah. Like, don't go with the flow. Be flexible. This group was. Yeah. There were some hard moments. If you've got some, 2 little 7-month-old twins and then almost 3-year-old, you're exhausted in your regular life. Right. Let alone coming to Disney, right? Packing all that up.
Plus that.
Disney tired plus that. We had a rented stroller. You would help them out with that. That's not their stroller. So you have to learn how to use it and close it, and you don't have much time because you got to get on the bus but you'll learn because you close it a lot, right, and open it a lot, so it's gonna work out.
It took several of us that first day.
I was just saying,
maybe
that's something too to think of is if you are renting a stroller like that, maybe like intentionally plan some time. I'm just thinking of this in the moment, like before you do actually have to go get on that bus, like take it down, do all those things beforehand so you don't have to live that stressful moment of like
Poor Reese, he had a couple of those. At one point, like I thought he was like, I don't know, he was a wrestler. He was the Rock. Yeah, he had that stroller.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, and we had the biggest carabiner I've ever seen. We're trying to close it up, and we're doing. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think they had what I just didn't want to happen. Was for some of them who aren't Disney people that were on the trip, right? Yeah. I didn't want them to be miserable, and I wanted them to want to come back as these kids grow. Yeah. It's not for everybody every year. You do you. Yeah. Like next year, I don't know that I'm going to, we talked about this earlier, just us. I may try to hit Magic Kingdom one time next year because I'd like to see the new nighttime parade. Yeah. I want to do Epic next year, hoping to go on an Alaska cruise next year, maybe a small Disney cruise next year. So there are other things that I want to do too. Yep. Right. And Disney's going to have a ton of good stuff
Yeah.
coming.
Yep.
You know,
We're
27
gonna
and
have to go
28.
back and-
Yeah. 27 and
For-
28, Danny Reagan, here it comes. Get ready.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's good. So, I will say this as we close. Look, whether you want to use Jordan or you don't want to use Jordan, find your Jordan.
yeah.
Jordan's great, and you should use her. That's my plug.
Thank you.
Because she never lets me down.
Happy to help.
But and she helps you when you're in an airport in Charlotte and you're struggling.
Yeah.
She's going to help sort things out when you're trying to figure things
So
out for you.
hopefully don't have to.
Yeah, but it's going to take some of that stress off
Yeah.
of you. And I use Jordan, and I go all the time. I know
Yeah.
how to go online and book my own
Yeah.
trip. But why?
It's just one thing that's not on your shoulders for the trip. And this, like, we joked a lot, like, you were essentially the me in the parks,
Right.
Like, you, unfortunately, when you use a travel agent, we're not there with you. That would be kind of cool. Like, if
Right.
you could travel with everybody. You
I
kinda
travel with her, but you
Yeah.
can't. Yeah.
But it is really helpful if you can. Disney is so fun, but it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of moving pieces to it. And so the more that you can talk to people, get advice, listen to podcasts, use a travel agent, have a friend, that you can talk to, it really does make it a little less stressful and takes some of that burden off your shoulder of having
Yeah.
to learn.
Yeah.
Theme parks are a whole other.
It's a whole
animal.
thing, and it's so and it is expensive for everybody that thinks, sometimes we come across like we love everything about Disney, and if they charged us $20,000, we'd still go. And the answer is we probably wouldn't.
No.
But
Right, producer Logan?
right.
Correct.
But I will say this, I don't know many vacations anymore that don't have planning
Yeah.
and that you're not going to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So utilize the things that are free to you. Your services are free. So you should take advantage of them because they really do help and will just help you enjoy it just a little bit
Yeah.
more. You can still have a bad day at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But a
'Cause
bad
life
day at
happens.
Disney
is a better
is
day.
is a better day than most days you're going to be
Yes.
living, right? Everybody that was with us is missing their snacks now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys have mentioned multiple times that you've been texted throughout the week of like, we wish we were at Disney.
Yeah. Where's our
Which is a
snack?
sign of a
I'm
good
missing
trip.
my snack.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3:00. Where's my
Yeah.
snack? So
Yeah.
and I will say this: 2 of us lost weight after this trip. All right, I'm not saying names or anything, but 2 of us lost some weight, even though we went to Disney and we felt like we ate
so
every
much.
15 minutes.
Yeah. We had 25,000 steps in just one day. So.
Yeah. So it was great.
Yeah.
So
And I will say, I want to point out one thing that I feel like you guys did really well, which is important, is especially talking about your last Magic Kingdom day. You had kind of 3 different strategies of how people did the parks that day. You guys went, rope dropped, open to close. Katie went, got there somewhat early, stayed most of the day, went back to the resort around 6 or 7 because that was her plan. Other group got there somewhat early, went back, took a nap, came back, did everything. So when you go with groups like that, like everyone's going to have a different way that they can do the parks, and that's fine. You've got to let everybody breathe and do their own thing. And so I thought that was really cool that like you guys found a way to just make it all work and mix it all in there and let everybody kind of go at the pace that they need to. And when you're traveling with families, friends, big groups like that, that's the key. So don't force everybody into whatever your bubble is.
like I said, I let folks go to the restroom now. I let everybody, have food during their day. Yeah, I learned. Yeah, Katie taught me years ago that like this is her trip too, right?
Yeah.
And so when somebody's saying I need to stop for a bathroom break and you give them the evil eye, like really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not so much fun for everybody. Yeah. So you just gotta do you, and have patience. Right, we joke about the patient pants, but you really do gotta have some patience pants, right?
Yes.
Because if not, you're
Bring
not
some
just
extra
ruining
pairs.
yours. Yeah, bring extra pairs. It's real hot and they're sweaty. But yeah,
My patience pants are sweaty.
that's it. Yep, they're sweaty. But and just have fun.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, Disney's not your thing, that's cool. Jordan can help you go anywhere you want to go. Literally.
Yes.
Anywhere you want to go in the world.
Yeah.
But go do you and have fun and
Yeah.
just live.
Find the fun in it.
Live in the moment. Spend time with your happy people,
Yeah.
with the people that make you happy in life and that you love. And that's what this trip was about.
Yeah.
Like, I've now been to Disney with the bestest friend in my whole life that's like my sister. And we've now been twice
Yeah.
with her grandkids.
Yeah.
Like-
That's pretty special.
It's pretty special. And she's had some health crises over the past few
Yeah.
years. And we went. And she loved it. And she still loves it.
Yeah.
And so, I think they'll be back. We're talking about going in 2028 when she actually retires. And so, just have fun.
Yep.
Life's too short.
Yeah.
And Disney costs too much not to enjoy it while you're there.
So figure out how to have fun.
That's it. Have fun
Or
right now.
else.
Yeah.
You paid for this fun. Have it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you guys had a good time and that everything worked out and everyone loved it, wants to go back again. So, and I mean, we always joke that we end up on trips that we're not expecting, but as far as we know,
Yep.
this will be the last post trip for a little bit because our next big thing is collectively as a group, our podcast team is going to be going to Disneyland in the
Yes.
fall. So we've got that to look forward to, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do some episodes leading up to that. But as far as we all know, this is our last Disney World trip for the year. So
Yeah. But as always, we keep up with all the stuff. We
Yes.
are watching. We listen. We read articles. Jordan's got some inside tracks there, so we're gonna know all the good stuff for you to keep doing, and we're happy
Yep.
to be there with you.
Yeah.
And help you get there. So have some fun. Go eat a Mickey bar.
Yes. And we will see you guys next time on To the Magic and Beyond.